Welcome back. It is the Debatable Home Show, and special guest joining us. If you were listening this past New Music Friday, then you heard the brand new song that just dropped from Amy Lee and Evanescence with a cast of thousands. Amy Lee joins us to talk about that song, the latest effort in your life, and maybe a little new record, those kinds of things. Welcome, Amy.
See where we get.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I have to ask you to start off, man. We've talked to a lot of different artists, a lot of writers. Some can't do anything during this lockdown. What has this been for you creatively? How have you been able to you come up with a cogent song at an important moment? So I guess you're not devoid of feeling.
She's getting something done.
Yeah.
Thank you for appreciating that. It's not been, it's not been easy. But man, the urgency of this year and this time and everything going on has really been fuel for the fire. The song and more than the song, just music in general for us, coming back with a full new album of music for the first time in a decade almost, is something that we were all just ready for, looking forward to. Had been writing music over the course of last year in between tours. And we had this cool new idea, and I'm so freaking grateful that we wouldn't wait until we had the whole album written to go in and start recording. So we went in, thank God, in February and got some of the album written and recorded, finished out 4 songs that way. And that ended with us having to kind of leave, in time. I finished some of the last vocals here at the house, took the mic and the preamp and stuff home with me from the producer. He put it down in the driveway, and I picked it up, and he explained it from across the way, how to use it. Things got real. But being locked down for the spring and summer has forced us to focus on creating. And obviously, for everybody in the world, changed perspective quite a bit, made us see things in a different way, made us look deeply into ourselves and also out at the world around us and just focus on what's going on instead of having so much distraction. We were supposed to be on tour that got canceled at the last minute, just like everybody. And it's interesting, we go through most things in our life sort of feeling okay, this is my experience, this is what's happening to me, and this is what I have to write about right now. And that's still true, but for once it's something, at least in the context of the pandemic, and just the general discord around us, that is something we're all going through at the same time. So being able to speak about something that we can all really in real time relate to has been good for me and has been something I've needed. I'm so grateful to be a musician and artist right now.
So this song, Use My Voice, obviously resonates, as Mark said, in a super timely way right at this moment in the moving closer to election and voting season, coming out of the protests that we've seen through the year. But it could have been timely coming out of the Me Too moment. It could have been timely coming out. I mean, when was this written? What was in your head in terms of the messaging in this song when it first happened? And does it land any different today than when you created it?
I am typically, not always, but very oftentimes, a very slow writer. And the first seed of this song that made me put pen to paper was actually back a few years ago when I read the statement made by Chanel Miller in the Stanford sexual assault case. Yeah. And what happened there, and I have been relentlessly sued and been through sitting through every truth being drowned in an ocean of lies. Completely recognized some of what she was talking about. Obviously, what she'd been through was much deeper and much more painful than anything that I had been through and gone through that with. But what was so powerful about it is that the guy that assaulted her, was of of wealth, of privilege, and all those things, and got off with a really light sentence. And then all she could do at the end of these trials last forever, years, Yeah. At the end of it, like after the sentencing, she just stood up and read her story. And that was the most powerful justice ever, just to come forward. And as hard, I can only imagine how deeply painful it must have been just to say those words in public, straight to her accuser, and just spoke her truth and her words and her truth. And the fact that she was so brave was more powerful than anything I think that they could have done. So that spoke to me initially. And I had like a verse, like the beginning. And then, it just kind of kept rolling around in the background. And then as things have progressed in our country, as lies have become, and misinformation and lies have become so rampant from the top down, I am done my time being lied to. I am so sick of it. And I am feeling more than ever the duty and responsibility of my platform to help spread truth and empower people to use their voices and be heard, because we shouldn't be suppressed. This is America. We need our voices to be heard for this to be a free country. So it's time for people. I'm not telling people to believe what I believe or vote for what I'm saying to vote for. I want to empower people to use their voice, because we need everybody in this country's name, their voice. Every single person needs to be represented moving forward so that we can make things better for everyone.
This song, I think, is going to, will land in a somewhat different way than you had originally planned. I didn't realize that this, like when you were talking about lies and not a bridge but walls, I mean, it seemed kind of obvious where you were going there.
Yeah.
But now I see that there is a whole other level to this.
For
and
sure.
Really something. And I wonder what you say to people. It doesn't happen quite as much in rock as it does in other genres, but what do you say to people who say, you know what? It's not fair. Just shut up and sing the music. It's not your job to do this. It's not fair. I don't have, a nationwide audience or 25 million followers. Just, what do you say?
Well, I think it is our job. I think that it's honestly what we need is to be united. And I think that everybody needs to keep that perspective. We should be one people. Listening to Michelle Obama's speech last night really inspired me, because so much of what she said was about how we need to come together. And that I've always seen that as part of my job, especially in the live scenario. We come together in music and forget about our differences for a moment so that we can all go to a deeper level of our souls as people, just as people, and all like enjoy the same thing. It's simple, but it's really important. And something that we've been missing in 2020 is getting together and feeling that unity, and something like a rock concert where, it's too loud for even talking. You're just all feeling the same feeling at the same time and uniting in a way that's so good for our hearts. And there are still ways to do that and to feel that way, but it's just harder right now. And I still want to be that. I do feel a responsibility to be a place for people to come together, and I think that's what we need. But at the same time, we need to be honest. Like, we need to just look at the information, educate ourselves. Fact checking is important, all those things, and then make our own decision for ourselves and get out there and use our own voice.
So can you tell us about tying this song into the voter registration efforts of Headcount? Did you have this song and think I want to find a cause to tie it to, I want to find something bigger to do with it? Or how did this alliance come together? And explain what it is you're doing with these guys.
It kind of like that, yes. I just sort of felt, I was actually listening back when we were at Mix, and I've never been a person to speak out politically at all. Like I was talking about unity, I've always kept just quiet. And I want to be, sensitive and respectful for sure. But at the same time, I was listening back to my own words, talking about like, don't let them silence you, use your voice, like all these things. And I was just like, man, I'm not doing that. Like, I am in the sense that I'm writing a song, but I need need to, when I feel something on my heart that is weighing me down, make it known. You know, especially when it's coming from a place of love and a place of wanting to shine light and seek truth. So I, you know, just really felt convicted, like, how can I help my country? How can we make things better? And voting seemed like a really, really important and empowering way to do that. Headcount is awesome. They are nonpartisan. It's all about making it easy. They make it really easy for you to get all the information. Voting's different state to state. There's not like some quick, easy, understandable rule that applies to everybody, and everybody's situation is different. So you can go to Headcount and with a few clicks, see, you know, your state, how early you need to apply for an absentee form if that's what you want to do, where and when you can go do early voting, which is an awesome idea right now. Just all your options, what they are, what you need, so that you don't end up, you know, at the last minute, oh crap, you know, I didn't do something in time or whatever, and your voice doesn't get heard. I love Headcount. I've used it multiple times in the past 2 weeks for my own use. Yeah.
And they've done lots of efforts with musicians and booths at concerts and tours, and I mean they're tied into this community as well. Can you tell us about, you got this, you know, these all-star badass women to join on this song?
Yeah.
You've got Taylor Momsen, you've got, you know, Lizzie Hale, you've got a bunch of folks. What, you know, I'm assuming that sort of accrued over these months and you went out knocking on doors and bringing people in, but how did you get everybody to come on board for this?
It was really easy. I just asked my friends, and something cool about women in the rock community in particular is that there are less of us, so we really support each other. When we find each other, it's always like, hi, another girl, like, let's talk, you know, like, and then you just support each other. We all have. So I could have extended the net further to like, just everybody heal the world. Come on, let's go. But I really wanted it to be my real friends and my real family, and to represent the true support that is women in particular in the rock industry. I'm very grateful to have such awesome friends.
I would imagine if you were out on tour, you would be doing things like registering people to vote at your concerts and so on. But I love the fact that you've connected with this organization, and you are sort of living what seems to make sense at this moment, which is we have to balance with tons of truth the lies that are out there on every imaginable subject.
Yeah.
You know, you have balanced things out. I think if you can give people information, then people are going to use it.
Right.
Do you feel, I mean, you can't go out and tour. And even though it's funny, one of the interviews that I was reading, for an older interview with you last night, you're like, I'm really not comfortable, you know, touring. I'm tired of touring, and touring such a drag. I bet you feel differently now, don't you, Amy?
Did I say that? I hate myself. I'm so
perspective does change. Yes.
Yes. I was just saying in an interview the other day, I was like, I know I have complained about tour before, but damn it, I was wrong. Like, I would give anything to be on a tour bus right now.
Right?
Yeah.
But I just wondered how, is there anything that you think of, not only in terms of doing something further with Headcount or to spread the word more, but just in terms of you have this record upcoming. Are you thinking about some other way to connect with us out here?
We are always thinking of more ways to connect. We're going to do some kind of from home concert, like from different places kind of thing, to support people registering to vote. People that do it through usemyvoice.org get to, you know, join in on that and see like a private performance. We got to come up with something. Still got to figure that out. So yeah,
still got to find
right
it
now. Working on how that's going to make sense.
Looking for suggestions right here. Send them.
Yeah, this is a brainstorm session actually. You guys, here it is. I've done quite a few, not quite a few, a good handful of these kind of like live at home, either collaborations or home performances, and they're always a little bit of a challenge, but fun, because in a situation where you're forced to think in a new way and change your routine, I actually really like those challenges because they make you come up with something you wouldn't have otherwise. And sometimes that makes way for just like natural, ooh, that's cool. I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't, restricted in some way and trying to think outside the box of how to make something good. So, yeah.
So before we let you out of here, we've got to ask about the new music. I guess this is third song we've heard from the album that's coming. Number one, just where are you in process? Where were you when the world shut down?
Yeah.
And I guess number two,
years now you're finally coming back.
Yeah, the last Evanescence record was the bring in the symphony, bring in the dance beats, open the doors up and see where we go. Is that carrying over into this project, or did you tack back more into a straight rock record, or what's going on? What's rattling around the band right now?
Okay. That was 5 questions in one, but I'm going to
listen. I'm just doing my job here.
Do better. Okay. I'm just kidding. So, okay. We're still writing, but we are also recording. So, we got 4 songs down, like I was saying earlier, and then we really had to just be apart. And that was kind of good, but kind of hard. Just worked remotely for a while. We got the American band members back together after getting COVID tests, and tour buses brought guys from both coasts, and we all just holed up in Nick Raskilinik's, our producer, his private studio. So we were just quarantined together for a little over a month.
Wow, that's great, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. And let me tell you, after not having the option of being together when we had wanted to so much, and having so much isolation before that, and the fact that we had created a safe way to get together just totally made it more meaningful and more passionate, and lit a bigger fire under us to make it our best. So we were able to get together and finish some writing, do some more writing together, and then record the band parts. The guys have gone home now, and we're working with Jen remotely. But now I'm still here, finishing lyrics, working on keyboards, working on vocals, getting programming stuff going on. But as far so we're still ongoing. I don't have a release date, but I kind of like to look at it like it's happening now. The idea behind this whole thing was always to just go one at a time, release it a little at a time in real time with the fans while it's still going on and it's still fresh. And just live in the moment more. So in my mind, it is being released. This is part of it. We live in a new world where it's not all about just dropping a big pile of music all at once. People don't always consume music that way. I don't. So I still want to make an album. That's part of who we are. And I think that's important to our fans. So we're doing that. And we will drop the back half or whatever soon. But I don't have a date because I never want to put a date down when I'm still writing, because I don't want to get to the last minute and be like, anything, just throw some words down. I can't do that. It has to be right. Sometimes it takes a minute. But we're getting there, and it's sounding really cool, and it's definitely not orchestral. We haven't put a single string down yet.
Are there guitars?
There are guitars.
Okay.
There's a lot of guitars.
Check it.
We're kind of letting the pendulum swing back. We went that way, and that was beautiful, and God, that was special, that experience with synthesis. But that's all really just been setting us up to come back in full force with the more rock side of who we are. So I'm honestly enjoying sound design and programming and synthesizers a lot more than the idea of a live orchestra right now. It doesn't mean that we won't find something where I'm like, ooh, we need a little string section on this or whatever, but we haven't reached that point yet.
Sidebar, how did it work for your family when you were sequestered with the band for a month?
It was a little hard. I mean, we were already really locked down and not seeing people.
Yeah.
But, then as, it started to be like, oh, I wish my family could visit. We just really couldn't do any of those things and haven't seen our friends. So there's a sacrifice to be made for sure. But it was really important to us, and it's definitely really important to us to keep ourselves and each other safe. So we just did it. I've got a lot of great support from my husband, who's here taking care of my 6-year-old with me. It's work for sure, but you only get one life. We got to do something that makes it worth it. I believe in what we're doing. So does my husband. So do all of the band. So we're going to put everything we can towards making some kind of a positive impact and giving our fans some good news amidst all the bad news of this year. So I would just like to, if in any way, do something that feels like a light in the dark.
Thank you for what you do.
Oh, yeah, we're all looking. We're all looking for it where we can find it.
Same, for sure.
So,
Amy Lee, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Man, we can't wait to hear the rest of this.
Thanks.
Dropping
Yeah.
a little something here and there is fine.
Yeah.
Looking
I'll keep leaving you breadcrumbs on the trail.
please.
thanks for fighting the fight, tying this into the cause and trying to get people up off their ass and, doing what they got to do as we're counting down the days till election
sure.
day. Yeah.
You too.
Right.
Thank you guys.
I got
Thanks,
a
Amy.
shirt that I'm wearing, Amy.
Let me see.
He's wearing the.
Just saying yet.
That's funny. You guys rock.
All right.
Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, Amy.
Amy Lee
Take
from
care.
Evanescence,
We'll be-
thank you. Stand by. We are going to take a fast break here. On the other side, we are back. It's the Debatable Home Show.